Oh, hello everybody.
Hello.
How are you feeling right now? Nobody cares. Autumn, you gotta help me out here. That's good. Okay, so some of you may be aware of this, and the rest of you might not, but you are now here at Mojo's for PBR Poetry. We don't have any PBR tonight, and that's okay. We have a drink special for you, so if you are interested, you can see my lovely friend Matt, and he will give you $1 off all domestic bottles and $1 off pitchers of Yingling. So you should meet up with him, and you should make that happen. Please remember to tip him. He's a beautiful man, and we love that he's here with us tonight. So let's hear it for Matt. Yeah, he's helping you out. All right, so I'm going to welcome our first poet up to the stage. Please give it up for 8-Ball.
I'm going to do the longest status thing now. A green-eyed boy met a brown-eyed girl one day. It wasn't love at first sight, though the sight of her was a delight. Her thick shining hair fell over her shoulders and down her back to her hips, a brown so deep, so close to black, with a glint of red in just the right sunlight. Her skin was fair, but not pale, a gentle glow, like moonlight through a mist with just the faintest dusting of freckles. Her lips were soft and pink and full, the kind of natural, sensual-seeming lips that so many women try to duplicate with injections or implants. And those brown eyes, the rich, warm hue of a slow-aged bourbon. I know it's cliche, but they positively glowed in her joy, sparkled when she laughed, and smoldered when she raged. She had little trouble with self-expression and spoke firmly and clearly with passion and conviction about everything that she loved or loathed. She was an artist and translated the world that filtered through those brown eyes with pencil and charcoals and multiple sketchbooks and with oils and watercolors on stacks of canvases. She told stories with her form and movement as only a dancer could. And even when she strolled down an old Carolina red clay road, it was with grace and control, like she was gliding across the stage. No, it wasn't love at first sight. It was interest at first smile, love at first laugh, absolute devotion at first exuberant explanation of her thoughts and ideas. That is, the green-eyed boy became devoted to her. She didn't notice him. Though they were part of the same circle of friends, she noticed the other boys with the quick smiles, quick wits, quick words, and quick hands. He didn't talk much in her presence, even though she made him want to sing and shout. He was in his own head too much, always reading or scribbling in some book, putting all his thoughts to paper. Odd observations, stories, poems, his all. Of course he wrote her into his book, so afraid he'd never touch her, hold her, or tell her how he felt. Then one day, the fit hit the shan. As the friends gathered to roll some dice and have fun, she noticed him there, smiling at her from the other side of the ring, as her laughter drew him away from scribbling in his book for a moment, and their eyes met. And she stage-frowned, crossed the room, and before he could react, she grinned at him and snatched the book. He was powerless to stop her. Her smile always entranced him so. You've heard of the 1,000-watt smile, right? Imagine, if you can, a smile so bright, so infinite in its power, it was like staring into the sun. The star-bright core of her soul cascading over and penetrating through him. She said, "What are you always scratching into this book?" She continued to grin as she scanned the page. The green-eyed boy was terrified. All was about to be revealed. As she flipped through more pages, her grin faded into a look of confusion. She threw him one of her penetrating stares. He dropped his gaze. He couldn't stand that glare. She commanded, not unkindly, "Look at me." Green eyes actually met the brown. He took a deep breath, and tears welled up in his eyes, and they cascaded down his cheeks. As at last he said more than just small talk, or hello or goodbye. He barely more than whispered, "Because everything I am is in this book, and I am all about you." It didn't happen right away. But the brown-eyed girl got the green-eyed boy to talk more and more, and they became inseparable companions, then lovers, and eventually moved in together. It wasn't forever, maybe a little over a year, but it was the best year for all they shared. And it was the worst, because he never came close to what they had again. Being with her was everything he hoped and feared it would be. They called her broken, traumatized by childhood abuse and a campus date rape. Manic depressive, they labeled her. To him, she was just not broken, she was just so much more. She was more joyous, more morose, more depth and breadth of feeling than he ever knew before. When she was up, oh God, she soared. She would dance like a storm and paint and create and laugh so long and loud at even the shittiest jokes. As she soared through the sky, he would climb as high as his land-bound soul would let him, just to keep her in sight and be ready to catch her, because she would sink just as she soared. He would know when he got home and Sarah McLachlan was playing on the radio, "In the arms of an angel." He's still wrecked by that fucking song. He'd find her in a dark corner of the house, curled up in a ball, sometimes sobbing, sometimes those brown eyes lost, staring at nothing at all. He'd bring his green eyes into her line of sight. She would blink to let him know she knew he was there. He'd wrap her body up in his and say, "I've got you." And he would sink to the bottom with her and not leave her alone. And when she was ready, he'd help her kick her way to the surface and come back up for air. She'd say, "I don't understand how you can love me so much. When you look at me and talk about me, you have the same look that my Mama has when she sings hymns in church." He looked right into those brown eyes and said, "If a man doesn't see the face of God in the woman he loves, then the love isn't real and there is no God." As the saying goes, nothing lasts forever. A brown-eyed girl met a brown-eyed boy one day. It wasn't love at first sight, but shit, he was a delight. He was gorgeous, and he was slick, and he was smooth, and he said all the right things, and he made all the right moves. It wasn't long before she showed the green-eyed boy to the door, and she said, "I never made you any promises." He said, "I know," and he left. But he never really did. He's still there, locked in that year. The brown-eyed girl and her shiny new brown-eyed boy were married very quickly, and she gave birth to a baby girl. Fast forward a few years, she was on meds now, and she would no longer sink, and she also couldn't soar. She didn't dance or paint or create or laugh as much anymore. She was a great mom, though, to that little girl. She called the green-eyed boy once a year or so. It was torture for him, but he couldn't say no. The brown-eyed boy was still gorgeous, and he was still slick and smooth, and he still made all the right moves with other brown-eyed girls and blue-eyed girls and green-eyed girls and so on and so on. They divorced. The brown-eyed girl and her little girl moved back with her mom, and they walked those old Carolina red clay roads together. She married again. No idea what color that motherfucker's eyes were. She had a spell like the old sinking again, but it was different this time. It went on too long, and she never again did manage to soar. By the time she went for help, it was too late. Cancer, stage 4. Her little girl went to live with her brown-eyed daddy and his new blue-eyed wife. They've raised her well, and she's had a great life. She'll soon graduate from high school. She could be her mother's ghost. She looks so much like her. The same moonlight glowing, freckle-kissed skin, the same cheekbones, the same nose, the same lips, the same beautiful brown, black, red-kissed hair. And she dances, and sketches, and paints, and laughs, and rages, and she sinks, and she soars. She's also in her own head way too much. She reads everything she can. She writes constantly, stories, random thoughts and ideas in journals and in her blog. And she writes beautiful poetry. And she's a green-eyed girl.
Can you please give it up one more time for 8-Ball? All right, coming up next we have Autumn Christine Louise. Woo! You got this, girl. You got this? Tell them.
on the chest.
Speak poet. Are you having some issues?
Yeah, I always have issues with this next time over it. I'm just going to try and act tough for you. The most important part about buying a car is the test drive. You really have to feel it out. Listen for the hidden rattles and don't take the dealer's word when he tells you it's perfect. No, you will be the judge of that. You stroll through this plot of land freshly laid out with big kids' toys, checking out the newest models that just hit the lot, deciding which one you want to take for a cruise. At the end of the walkway, there's a hidden gem in the shadows, and that's the one. You lie when you say it's in your price range. You just want to take it for a spin, so you get in with sweaty palms. It's exhilarating, but do not get overly excited. Wear your poker face, buckle up, put the top down, and enjoy the ride when you return. The dealer will use your excitement against you, so you tell him that you'll call back later. That's a lie, too. Tell him that you loved it, but you just want to shop around. Much like you thought of me when I crawled out of your bed this morning. Woo! You thought that was nice, but she's asking too much. The rattle in my chest is the shaky heartbeat that you didn't want to put work into, so now I'm the pothole you avoid when you drive down the street. Stamp me with a label that says, not worth the asking price. I've always been the girl that wants too much. Always been the crappy cologne at a drugstore that everybody tries, but nobody wants to buy it. Been the one that when you ask for fire, I would offer a dim-lit candle burning slowly, but it wasn't enough, so I put myself in the flames. I'm a burning house now, and you abandoned me just the same. So now, we sit beneath the cracked framework of my ribcage, and you ask me for a strong drink. So I let you shoot me like whiskey with no chaser, but you didn't like how I burned your throat from the inside out, that you wanted wine instead. I gave you a sip from my sunken-in chest, hoping this would taste sweeter, but I was an off-brand, tasted too much like grape juice, too much like child, decided there was too many years between us. Maybe I'll get better as I age, so you let me collect dust on your shelf. It will build my character, make me less girl, more woman, more valuable, because I'm only worth what you can take from me. You dusted me with new paint to hide the scratches, but you couldn't cover the dents that you left in me. So I buried them under a new pair of jeans, and when the next driver takes them off of me, I'd like to be honest about the car crash or a relationship we had, but nobody thinks it's pretty to wear victim on your heartstrings. When we kissed for the first time, you said, I'm glad we were able to see what this was like. I'm still wondering when will I be worth more than just a test drive.
Give it up one more time for Autumn Christine Louise.
Give them help.
Thanks, you guys are great. These last three guys will be able to, you're awesome. I'm gonna do a poem for you, okay? Thanks. This is an anti-apology. The anthropology of understanding that I don't owe you a goddamn thing. This is the science of sorry not sorry. The tell me again, why should you give a fuck what you think? Because you think my body is not my body. The same way that I know my body is not your body, so I don't really care. I'm not supremely interested in how tight you think this skirt is. I already know. It's my favorite. I wear it almost every Thursday, like a Band-Aid, uncovering the parts of myself that are afraid of you. They remind me of bullet wounds, smell like an entire adolescence of short-range assaults. I have not been aggravated enough for anyone to notice, only bled out enough to apologize for the mess, but not anymore. My apologies died in a fire. The same one I tried to burn the memories in. The same one they crawled out of with third-degree burns. It's a bitch being a bitch. But it's a landmine when you force me, I'll explode. I did explode. I am remnant. I am the fortune of the fire that couldn't destroy me. Cough ash when you ask me to smile. Spit out my apologies so I don't choke on them. The last time you ever touch me is the last time you ever touch me because I say so. Stitch the fabric of the word no on the back of my hand in case you ever need it. Will protect myself for all the times I didn't. Will call myself goddess if you don't have to. So I don't need you. So I don't need you. I just forgot how to feel sorry for you. For your longing. For your socially ingrained false understanding of what you think you own, this age of entitlement you've grown up in like weeds in a garden you were generationally programmed to overtake. Ask questions later, I know. Consent is pesticide to the patriarchy, but I'm not responsible for the way or the way you crumble under the weight of the word no, or never, or not this time and not next time. Next time, I will teach you the chemical reaction of a woman who's tasted poison until she's immune to it. You don't faze me. Hate me for it. Thank you. April, are you there? Friend?
He's hiding.
Would you like to come up again? Yeah, we're gonna have you come up again. Please give it up for April.
I can't stand the fly. I'm not that naive. I'm just looking for the better part of me. I sometimes feel like a strange visitor from another planet, but I'm not Superman, not even close. I'm not faster than a speeding bullet, but I've tried to catch every falling tear. I'm not more powerful than a locomotive, but I've tried to prevent so many train wrecks. I cannot leap tall buildings in a single bound, but I've tried to rise above skyscrapers of expectation while weighed down by self-doubt. My skin is not bulletproof, but I let the slings and arrows of enemies bounce right off of me, yet I still bleed. I've tried to rescue people from the train speeding toward them, but they won't let go of the fucking tracks. I've tried to perform good deeds and right the wrongs I've seen, but somehow I get it twisted. Right becomes wrong, up becomes down, friends become enemies, and every intention just becomes another cobblestone in the path to hell. This S I pinned to my own chest is backwards, scribbled in crayon by the hand of a simple, naive child. A square man trying to hammer his way into a round world. So I withdraw from this world and my responsibility to everything I'm expected to be. I don't need x-ray vision to see that I have to escape from this fortress of solitude and set myself free, but I can no longer lift the key. I can't stand the fly. I'm not that naive. Men were meant to ride the clouds between their knees. I'm just a man in a silly red sheet, looking for special things inside of me. I'm just a man in a funny red sheet, just a man trying to catch a dream. And it's not easy to be me.
All right, please give it up once again for Autumn Christine Louise. Woo!
For 3 years, I have failed to find the loss of words I had when you left us. Let the pitter-patter of pouring rain pallets drip darkness over all conversation like the blacks and the blues from your lungs being bruised, leaving meaningless apologies and false hope as my blanket, but it's torn. I never put enough thought into how this would feel, freeing you from this world. I can't believe that it's real. Maybe I'll call it to heaven and I'll make God a deal. Just one more I love you, it might help me heal, but I haven't decided if you would listen. Because someday science screams to me, the world is only everything we can physically see, twirls me around with whirlwinds and blurred vision, until this world and I part. I've made you my mission. For now, these racing raindrops wash down the window with everyone, a memory of the day that you let go. I wish I could tell you in person, but I thought you should know you're the green in every light that signals me to go. Every blade of green grass or tall pine green trees, green eyes that stare wide and blink back at me. My pack of Newport brand cigarettes, as green as can be. What they forgot to remind me is that death comes in threes. One for you, a piece of me, and anyone you've ever seen. These are the things that I think when I breathe. The day that you died, I felt real heartbreak for the first time. And I know you would be disappointed in me, Grandma. The thing that took you far away, I fill my lungs with every day, and with every blast of fiberglass, your voice echoes in my head, fingers resembling dancing leaves, like I might wind up dead, and deep down inside I know you want me to quit, but I love the whispers so much that I take another hit. And I want you to know, Grandma, your voice in my head leaves stepping stones on the path to where my words have grown, and how far they will go, I may never know. But what I do know is if heaven is so far away, why do I hear whispers and winds that lick at my fingertips and earlobes, or the pebbles underneath my toes, and maybe the pieces of me that died with you that day I fill with smoke. So the void will always be in tune with the last feeling you ever had. I just wish you were here to save me. Out of Christina's. She's my best friend, in case you're wondering.
Oh, good.
Sad boys are my favorite kind of boys by far. I've been collecting their tears in a mason jar for years, since I first discovered a version of patriarch not afraid to open up like a storm window or a leaky roof. Still, what's with all these sad boys? I become acutely aware of the black jean mirage in the corner, a wall thorn. I have a radar for where the light in the room is most dim. Sad boy's always looking down. So I lay myself on the floor in front of him until he has no choice but to see me. Sad boy doesn't smile with his teeth. Sad boy lets half smile escape from the corner of his mouth and a reluctant sigh. I perceive the exhaustion of pretending to care about the room. Sad boy sits in still. He's here, and it's for a reason. And I'm not a sad boy, so I can't possibly know why. I am on a mission. I have a shelf of sad boy hearts near my kitchen. My favorite damaged trinkets. I did not break them. They were already like that. I just collect them. I try to keep them safe for a while. But sad boy hearts are always set on self-destruct, which is to say, I have a shelf of sad boy time bombs waiting to implode. It's not their fault. That's all they know how to do. Sad boy finally sees me, and I'm sure he thinks I'm crazy. Happy girl with a death wish. Happy girl with a vampire grin. Happy girl sucks the life out of you and she can find it just so she can lay it on a plate and prove you wrong, see? Sad boy isn't so sad after all. Sad boy tried to hide it, but I found it. Sad boy smiles when he's alone with me. Sad boy says it's hard to unhinge the rusty gates of that sad house or mouth. Sad boy thinks I stare at him, and he's right. I can't stop looking. Hunter of treasure, believer of black magic. Sure, if I don't blink or blink the exact amount of times I'm supposed to, sad boy's skin will shed like snake and slither onto my lap where he belongs. Sad boy smokes cigarettes. They all do. Haven't met a sad boy yet who isn't a chimney on the top of a house the world is still trying to condemn. Sad boy isn't pretty like the others, but he's beautiful. Sad boy knows it. Sad boy's body is only sharp when it has to be. When it doesn't have to be, it is soil, and I'm digging it. Always digging in, planting things that grow and hope sad boy has the time to care about feeding it. Sad boy lets Satan slide into his DMs, and I think that's dangerous. And I like it. Sad boy sees everything wrong with the world and wants to care to change it, but he can't. Sad boy says goodbye, and it sounds like a spell or a haunting, and I like it. Hey, thanks. Okay, we're gonna take a break for a minute. Please buy a beverage for my friend Matt here. Remember to tip him because he's amazing. And just so you're aware, in case you didn't know, all domestic bottles are $1 off, as well as all pitchers of Yingling. There's no PBR tonight. It's not false advertising. We still have beer to drink, and it's all the fucking same. Okay, thank you. My first puff of Newport tasted like the poison of a wicked wonderland. I inhaled the demons in dancing shoes. They swirled a pretty cloud in my lungs. My second puff, I thought of you. And my lips wrapped around this sickness, and I imagined that your lips had done the same. You see, if your lips touch this, and my lips touch this, then in a way, our lips have touched. And our lips have never touched, but now I know what you taste like. Thickness. Darkness. A burnt tornado breaking me beautiful from the inside out. My third puff is understanding that if I'm going to be in pain, if I'm going to suffer and crumble and collapse, if my chest will scream, my hands will shake, my eyes will water, it will not be because of you. It will be any other addiction but you. I sucked the life out of this cigarette trying to save myself. Half of me is ashes just the same. I remember my mama warning me about things like this. Bad boys, bad habits. There is no difference. The instant I discovered that every time she told me watch out for them, I realized I was just watching. Just observing the way you walk, never in a straight line. You teeter, it's enchanting. It's like your equilibrium is tilted some to the left, some to the right. It's just like how we're never right where we should be. Always leaning towards it was meant to be, or maybe we never should have met at all, but I thought the same thing about this Newport. I thought this could be a mistake. But it's intoxicating. Terribly, painfully perfect. It's the love child of oxygen and misery, easily the sweetest suffering I ever had the will to fill myself with. I should stop. I should crush this like evil embers. I should smash this like succulent sadness, but I have useless fingertips, broken wrists, tired tendons. I think, because I can't think of anything but the thin line. Beginnings and endings, your top lip and bottomless cloud, the sky and the universe, my feet the ground. You are the thin line that feels like breaking. I'm taking all in like it won't be the death of me, but you will be the death of me, or the life or the high. Either way, it's all temporary. And I'm left with this distant, powerful tremor in my left hand and my right, and it's wrong, but another hit. I crave it. I tell myself one more would be more than enough. They say there are a million things toxic, but you will never find regret and sickening desire on the label next to nicotine and fiberglass is the last of the things tearing me apart from the inside out that I'll be screaming about tonight. I seem to be addicted to things that disappear quickly. This is my thought as I breathe in deeply and let the exhaust rest its razor blade edges on the tender sides of my esophagus. I think my last puff tasted just like my first. And my first puff tasted just like you. I'll say that. Girl. All right, please give it up for your next poet, Autumn Christine Louise.
Thank you for whoever's packing me all the way to the stage. I appreciate that. Thanks, Jared. I'm falling for someone who doesn't want you back. I remember the first time I saw you. I'm not talking about the day that we met. I'm talking about the first time I saw your crescent moon smile and how it lit my lady bits on fire, but I am not worthy of holding the night in my arms. Until you saw me. Storm window. I try to close myself, but it doesn't matter. You see right through me. You, perfect storm, left your fingerprints smeared across my glass. I wonder how many homes did you destroy before me? Did you leave traces of them across my neck when you tried sucking the life out of it? You want me to be your best kept secret. Send me off like a message in a bottle that you hope sinks, gets swallowed up by bottom feeders, but darling, I am a lost treasure that you just sent home. But it's hard to stay home. It's still hard. I'd like to call you Boomerang with the hopes that you'll come back to me, but I have never been good at throwing things. I always seem to fall short, always falling short, always searching for you, moon, but I get easily distracted by stars, sucked into the black hole surrounding you, but gravity has this way of sucking me out again. It never made sense. Just like it has never made sense that I am terrified of the dark, but I am a night owl. Fuck the sun. Give me eclipse. You are the 2 minutes of darkness that makes my day bright again. Besides, we've always been more fun with the sunset. Always love, watching the day go black, love, looking for you, moon, waiting for your reflection on the water. I realize how strange you are, pretty boy. I can't keep up with your phases. The moon is full tonight, but I feel empty. How can something so bright belong to the dark sky? It's confusing because sometimes I can see you, but I know you were, sometimes I can't see you, but I know you were there and you will circle around again and again, so I'll call you my nightlight. And I'll wrap myself in you, curl my shattered glass frame around you, protector. This body is nothing but a shell. It doesn't matter if it's from a shotgun or the sea, but it's empty. Call me window frame. Because the storm shattered my glass out long ago, the person I was no longer lives here. But there's room for you, if you want there to be.
Please give it up one more time for Autumn Christine Louise. All right, coming up next, please give it up for 8 Ball. Woo!
Because etc. is my favorite poet still. This is not a poem. These are the nicotine-fueled, smoke-laced words that came to me at 2 in the morning, sounds looking for a voice, and I was the only one around. I was sitting on my front porch, minding my own business, the night air biting at my arms, when these words settled into my cigarette, and I breathed them in. I find this happens a lot. The words come to me in a place so quiet and yet so deafening. I am but a vessel for their quest into the physical world, and so I find meaning in the most meaningless of places. In the way cigarette smoke fades into the air, in the way it captures my attention, in the way the ashes slowly crumble and fall, in the way my hands shake, in the way a place can be so quiet and yet so deafening. So I'm watching the smoke from the end of the cigarette fade into the night, and it reminds me of so many things. My father, old friends, childhood hopes and expectations, the looks on my mother's face, all the times I told her all the ways I'm bad for me. Because I'm bad for me. I'm bad for me like cigarettes, like glass bowls, like crushed soda cans, like apples. I'm bad for me like glasses filled with alcohol that taste less like alcohol and more like dessert. I'm bad for me like jagged pen clips, like fingernails, like broken glass and razor blades. I'm bad for me like 3 a.m. inventories of all the shit that's happened, like 4 a.m. freakouts, like panic attacks, anxiety attacks, like days of depression, of dysphoria, like suicide and homicide on my mind, like my inability to let a single goddamn thing go. I'm fucking bad for me. All this from a wisp of smoke, I think. As I bring the phone to my lips and drag it away, it feels like a curse. But then I realize, it's not the cigarette giving me these words. No, it's the night. And it has always been the night, that thick, inviting darkness that I have always loved to call my home. And these words don't just come from anywhere. They come from me. They float in my veins during the day, and when I find that place that's so quiet and yet so deafening, they take their form. This is not a curse. It's a gift from the night, which is so kind as to give me a way to, in the words of Mother Monster, sit with my thoughts and not feel crazy. This is a poem. These are the night air-fueled, mental illness-laced words that come from me at 2 a.m. in the morning, emotions looking for a voice, and I am the only one who can speak them.
All right, please give it up for your next poet coming to the stage, Kat.
One time, this girl who didn't know me very well called me a delicate flower. And I remember it being more condescending and complimentary. Like she was misreading my being gentle as a lack of strength. Had already decided long ago that gentleness and strength were opposites that had no potential of being synonymous. Here's my point. This girl called me delicate for the same reason. Someone probably once called you a pussy. And I might have not seen a guy who would understand me, but I definitely saw someone who was just as misunderstood as me.
So much quicker than expected, and now I'm going to do a poem because I don't know what else to do. So, give it up one more time for Kat. We keep an old Folgers coffee can of cigarette butts on our front porch. A welcome mat reminder that we're all a little burnt out. And at times, I think our hearts are harder to bust open than our front door, but you learn that all the things that keep you safe are never that easy to get to. But I know I'm safe in here. You see, my house is a 2-story dreamer's dormitory. I think we've never called it home, just haven for the days we need a place to lay our heads. We call this mining country, mostly because we're all just diamonds in the rough, stuck, and we dig into the bottoms of our bags trying to find ourselves almost as often as we're digging for our half of the rent. But it's not special without us, so we stay for now. But it's hard. At times, this house is haunted. At times, it feels like the walls are full of secrets, and when I walk through the kitchen at 3 a.m. for a glass of something thicker than this darkness, I tiptoe on linoleum when it feels like I'm really treading lightly on pins and syringes, past lives lingering like carpet stains. I mean, we've all tried, but you can't scrub that shit out. Sometimes it stays with us. So now, we play hide and seek in between our own tear-stained bedroom sheets for the fear of it all finding us when we finally don't feel so weak, but it finds us. He slept so many nights on foreign soil overseas and cared for the life of him, stopped screaming in his sleep. She spent so long drowning this aerosol can cloud of confusion, had to unlearn her lungs on the correct way to breathe deeply. He had to teach himself how to walk again, has to live with important pieces of himself missing, and I cannot tell if this is home for them or if it isn't, but it doesn't even matter, because these rooms are boxes, are cages, are clipped wings, and my angel doesn't know what he means to this world. When our room is a garden, I like to comb myself into him with free root arms, my soil and still. He wears 20-some years of some things I don't understand and never will. Can't count the silver lines he tried to etch into his arms or snatch the nightmares from his eyelashes like I'm lighthouse for his storm, but I'm not. Even when I want to be. He's still dreaming about cages. Still writing letters home and sealing them with phantom smiles, even when he's not alone, he thinks he is. These are the reasons for the quietness I found hiding in our floorboards. And why I've never emptied anything. Never old Folgers coffee cans. Never boxes full of things I thought I needed that one time that I thought I couldn't leave behind. I don't like what empty looks like.
Woo-hoo! Yeah!
Thanks, Autumn. You always got me. When nobody else does. Autumn, do you want to do another poem?
Want to do our poem?
What's our poem? Oh yeah, I remember it from that one time. Okay, sure.
No, I haven't practiced these signs in like 27
Dude,
years.
it's all good. Me either.
27 years it's been.
You haven't even been alive that long, but I understand.
But it feels like it's been that long. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
What would you do if silence was the only sound you've ever known? Silence is a strange thing.
You don't notice it until it's everything. The world must seem so loud when it sounds so empty.
It must be confusing when you're forced to learn to make your hands say everything your voice once did. Or maybe your voice has only ever come from signs taught to you by the muffled sounds leaving your mother and brother. Like it's coming from cracks in the sidewalk, or like screams underwater, and the shoreline is leaving you.
The first thing I learned to speak in sign language was I love you. It was menial. I've been hearing those 3 words forever. My father would whisper, I love you, as I fell asleep. My mother would send me off with it. I would brave every day of elementary school with that soft-spoken reminder. I always knew what it sounded like.
Love looks different in this foreign language.
It looks like sitting in the back of class, glazed eyes as lips move quickly, instinctually unable to appreciate the fact that
He can't hear you.
it faces no one.
I remember sitting starstruck next to the only deaf student in a crowded room watching as his fingertips spoke physics, and I was more captivated by his hands than any lesson Newton's laws could teach me.
Since the age of 5, he's known better English than them, spoke the difference between deafness and dumbness, always felt in the palms of his hands that being speechless did not mean he has nothing to say. You don't have to be deaf to know that sometimes
People won't listen either way. One afternoon we sat at a lunch table, amazed by the volumes that were spoken while it seemed that no words were being said at all, embracing the sadness that no one loves to hear the sound of our own voices more than we do. Yet some people never get to hear theirs. And when people lack the ability to hear, their heartbeat becomes music, and your heartbeat is the percussion they can feel in their fingertips. How beautiful it must be.
So tell me, would your words fall graceful or flat? If they could only ascend from these 2 hands, would they mean as much if you couldn't hear them? The greatest things you could ever say may lack these words,
But in action, speak louder, so do not yell. In fact, do not speak at all. Give me signs.
because I still can't hear you.
That dog is changing my life.
You have no idea.
Okay, do we have anybody else? Anybody else who wants to read right now? Sure. Somebody said sure, but I don't think they were talking to me. Okay, we're going to take a break for just a minute, and we'll be back. So thank you very much. We'll see you in a second. Hello, once again. This is The Willows, Grief in 3 parts. The screaming. It happens at all the wrong times. No one can seem to hear it but me. 1,000 angels fall at my feet, but I can't stop and nitpick the debris. There is no time for grief when everyone's looking. Searching smiles I've dumpster dived for to the seams of my sleeves. This whole thing is a cataract that's been laid over my being, glazing over the edges of everything I used to be. Dulling the pictures of you and me sleeping, fading the roses, the willows are weeping for you. I am the willows. The breaking, it happens easily. Broke apart 3 times already this week. A little more of me lost to the wind of you leaving. Must remind myself to do the things that used to come easily, like breathing. And I'm fucking breaking, like I always knew I would be. I've been writing my pain into existence since the moment you met me. Ordained all the pain that you caused from the beginning. I have to forgive you for dying so I can forget all your sins, and I can't stop the aching. I've got all this love and there isn't a place for it, just leaves me. There's nowhere it can go. It's meant for you and you're not around, so I've got no choice but to bury it down, and it's breaking me. The living, it happens regardless of my will or interest in it. Everyone you left is still here, counting up the minutes. The taste of all your empties, the burning on our tongues. It's all a vacancy that I can never fill. I hope you haunt me. Every night I hope you touch me. Transcend dimensions just to love me. Break through the glass between our worlds. I hope you watch me living. Woo! Thanks so much. You got me, man. Alright. Please give it up for 8 Ball. Woo!
Ex Umbra and Lucian. I once tried to tell the sky I belonged there. that it was home for me. Don't you know, when it rains, it's because the clouds were hanging on for too long. This earth beneath us has missed their tears, much like it has missed you. This dirt, this clay, this understanding that we will return one day. I dream of my mud-made bed. Tell me it is soft. Tell me it is safe. The sensation to curl fingers into this ground, let it sprinkle around my feet. Maybe it will help me grow. You know, I've never been much of a green thumb. It just seems the clumsiness of these hands stifles the life out of everything I touch, including me, especially myself. So I'll try to make this into some sort of an apology. This life, this home that we've made for ourselves. Poets, listen, do you hear that? That is the soft cry of our mother beckoning us back to her. Do not go. Do not listen. Now is not your time. You have a purpose here. Her trees would miss your gentle carbon kiss, breathing deep their oxygen. Keep going. Keep writing. Keep screaming. Keep being. Forgive yourself. You are a child born from this earth. You are royalty, the heir to the world's throne. Wear your crown high, and all shall bow before you. Rejoice. Live. Rejoice. Live.
You can say nuances.
All right, we got a new poet for you. Please give it up for Nuances.
Speak, poet.
Hello.
Don't be nice.
Alright, I wrote this earlier. Not today. Alright. Sick of the situation, feel stuck in suspended animation. Unsure which move to make, the turns in this labyrinth sure are making me question if I'm headed to the destination I aim to reach. I hear sounds from the other side of the hedges, and I can't make out if these voices are too lost or providing direction, and we're searching for the solution. I've never been so unsure of anything. What got me here? Why did I think I would be the exception? I'm just the rule. I'm just the rule. The perspective from the side of this maze sure doesn't make it feel like these days of uncertainty are coming to any near conclusion. That's it.
I got a simple poem.
Oh, you want to... I have no control.
This is a simple poem.
Sing it. What's your name?
There once was a man of devices, whose ears were of different sizes. The one that was small was of no use at all, but the other won several prizes.
Woo!
That's all I got.
Thank you.
That was recorded, by the way. There's a camera.
On seeing ghosts in public places, it's hard not to notice you. As you broad shoulders slide your way around the corner like you own the place. I remember the last time you thought you owned something. What that face looks like in the dark, but today, in this moment, in this place, I see it. Broad daylight demanding to be noticed by the shattered subsection of my heart I buried in the bottom of a bag that I don't usually carry anymore. And suddenly I'm carrying it. Like I never let it go. Like I didn't leave it in a fake love poem on Little Bro with half my innocence and a sore throat. Like I didn't lock it inside a box I built with my own broken bones, like the cages you instructed me to feel safe while trapped inside a body I wasn't even fully grown into. I think no. Over and over again, I think no way. You aren't real. This isn't me. I'm not breathing. Just like I didn't breathe that one time when you slipped through my bedroom window and in between my sheets, I think they were pink. Like my cheeks. Like My favorite color before I realized it looked better in black because it makes me look older and less 16, less child, less person who doesn't know what that one word means, more mature, more easy to stomach. My adolescence would have got these curtain draped curves. They look too much like woman. I can't breathe. I keep staring. And it was for like less than 10 seconds, but it took less than 10 seconds to ignore and unwrap Teddy on legs like a present, but it wasn't for you. I wasn't for you. I wasn't yours. I didn't want it. You're carrying a plastic bag in your hand. I bet it smells as synthetic as the breath you made me swallow from your throat. I bet you left your heart in a trash can too. Must have mistaken my eyes for looking glass. I bet you saw a demon that looks just like you. I hope you sleep soundly. Hope I don't creep into your subconscious like a flesh-eating poison, but I bet I do. But that's why you look like so much is missing. Why I can see right through you. I blink and you're gone again. I saw ghosts this afternoon. Thank you, Autumn. Autumn, do you want to do a poem? Alright, please give it up for Autumn Christine Louise.
Alright, I'm gonna change it up here. I'm not this tall.
Yeah.
That's okay, fuck it.
No swearing if you can help it.
Oh, why? Are you offended?
No, man.
If you feel like swearing,
Well, fuck it good, because I'm gonna go.
say fuck 3 times loud if you mean it. I love your outside voice.
Thanks, guys. Alright. You asked for hash browns at the airport. A hot cup of coffee steams cooling in your hands and mine a latte. Hit the food court alone, and when I leave, you're on your iPhone, tagging your grandma on Instagram. You never take a photo with me, though. I pass a rack of postcards and I think of a destination and how hard it was just to get you to take this vacation with me. Put simply, I had to be incredibly persistent. And at first you gave such a resistance to my insistence, I almost quit then. I remember the man at Wit said, if a girl keeps saying no, she must be playing hard to get then. But like most common culture notions, immediately I'm at war with it because the concept of war, playing hard to get, is hard to get for me. They say that love is beauty, and to me beauty is the essence of something at its simplest. I want a single bedroom home. You want apartment complexes. You want to invent connections to popular conventions and use your youthful body to create sexual tension, not realizing that when you divide all your attention, you multiply your chances of answering the wrong questions or learning the wrong lessons. And excuse me, I know that I am not a teacher, but I feel the express need to profess this. And I don't. I just continue to stroll trying to find a place to get you some hash browns. But Burger King's closed and it's already past 11, so you know motherfucking McDonald's has already stopped serving breakfast, and suddenly it occurs to me, you made such a specific request when you could have just asked for a bagel. Because literally, in front of me, I could see like 4 different places that I could get you a bagel. But instead he chose to send me asking, unattainably tasked with a task that now seems incredibly taxing. I could just be relaxing next to you, could be chatting, but you'd rather be at home taking pics of your granny. Not that I don't like Eleanor. She's a wonderful woman. But your lack of attention's got me thinking things that I shouldn't, like what you wouldn't do to a guy you've called, put it in, kissed on the cheek, lipstick red as the wooden walls on my wagon, that old red radio flyer. See, I was a boy once with a burning desire to find a princess admire, band your dragons perspire, and then into the same bed at night we'd both retire, but this has not been my experience with women. Nor is that a blanket statement or one that can't be rewritten, but every time I've been smitten, I've ended up getting bitten, so I really want to find you these hash browns. Because maybe for once it'll show I don't back down. If you lay out the gauntlet, then I'll lay down the smack down. Every object I'll track down. Watch me snap, bring my back down. As I bend over backwards just to get you these hash browns. Get them! Luckily, a little breakfast shop isn't closed. I walked in the shop with elated thoughts bubbling in my head. Pop. My hands on the white styrofoam. It's just a chintzy container. I get back to our gate and I can just barely explain it. Imagine me, a conquered man, excited to relay it. You sent me on a quest. I found that dragon and slayed it. Slay it! But you're nowhere to be found. All I see is our baggage. Your purse is now missing. On your seat there's no jacket. These damaged suitcases, they show me the fact that I can't tell the difference between our present and past acts. I'm really tired of this play. So I place the tray of hash browns on your suitcase and walk away. Woo!
Alright, please give it up for your final poet performance of the evening, April.
Whoa. Let it roll.
You're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. An immature declaration, but critical to self-determination. So you're not the boss of me because I choose not to let you be. I don't need a boss. No one controlling me. I'm a grown-ass man, a veteran, a survivor of endless scorchers, battlefields no one else can see. Maybe, baby, you should just let this one be. But the threat is low-key. I'm a low-level threat flying under the radar, non-threatening, not because there is no danger, but because I choose not to be threatening nor threatened. I'm a powder keg of unknown potential, passion, for romance, bromance, for fighting to the last breath, for breathtakingly lost causes. When I do pop off, it's higher explosive, bunker busting, incendiary, burning hotter and brighter than white phosphorus. That's powerful, yet conventional. The issue is, I'm so unconventional. Exploding in the wasteland, no man's land like another pointless secondary nuclear test, energy expended to no great effect, to no purpose, not mission essential. Is it essential to the purpose that there actually is a mission? Some delivered direction, some guidance? You see, what makes a Sidewinder missile so effective in air-to-air combat is the guidance system, not the warhead. Now don't get it twisted. The warhead is brilliantly simple and simply lethal. About the size of a small Folgers coffee can, a canister, a cylinder, the diameter ring with high-density alloy rods packed tightly around a highly explosive core. And when it detonates and functions as designed, it destroys its target in a spinning blossom of concussive force, propelling a pinwheel procession of metal shredding metal, a daisy of death, with great effect, with purpose. But there's no effect if it never reaches the target. The rocket motor propels the warhead with supersonic velocity to its destination, a date with destiny in the sky, with intention. But the intention cannot be fulfilled without guidance. That Sidewinder guidance system is a marvel of science and engineering, but it's classified. I can't explain how it works, because I took an oath. And I take that to my grave. If you hear me utter, you have my word, or I promise, you know it's a grave matter. There's no gray area on this, neither in reality or within our own grave matter. But back to the matter of the Sidewinder. That miraculous Sidewinder guidance system never misses once it locks on. There's no escape. It will guide the rocket motor with the intention to deliver that death-daisy warhead to fulfill its purpose to great effect, to reach the target, to achieve the potential of its design. Thanks to that guidance unit. Without the guidance, it's just potential untapped, purpose unfulfilled, a detonation of power and even beauty, but bursting like a misspent Independence Day skyrocket to no good effect. So, you see, baby, you're not the boss of me. You are not the boss of me. But maybe, just maybe, I want you to be.
All right. Yeah.
Alright, that's all there for tonight. We'll be back here in not 1 but 2 weeks at Mojo for PBR Poetry. I hope to see you again soon. If you would like more information about our events, please check out Pulse Poetry Slam on Facebook. And we will see you here in 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Goodbye.